found out basically nothing's up right now, but half the quad squad team is, so we're excited, fired up, getting caffeinated. See you on the desert. Food. We're at the Black Bear. Trailers are all parked in a place. We got 1/2 hour before they tow us away. We should get some chicken fried steak and head to our next destination, Fields, Oregon. Well, we were just gonna get to here and look at the map and then find out what the next smart thing was.
The smart thing would have been bring the correct map.
Yeah, there is that. The Canada one isn't gonna work.
We will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, a package like to keep us trapped in greed. All green belts wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined.
Bet it's on his name, maybe.
Control us, we will be victorious.
So, the quad squad is never without drama. I would say 10 miles out of Bend, Oregon, climbing a hill, the Big Ford. Looks like it's having some trouble.
Rise up and take the power back. It's time a fat cat's had a heart attack. You know that bad times
Take off, get out of sight, and then just pull over so we can pack up and meet you.
Okay, so pull over. Had to come up over the ridge here just to get a cell phone, a few bars. Called my buddies Mike and Mike, who are about 75 miles ahead of us. We're at mile marker 21. So we're actually heading back now that we can talk to somebody and see if we cannot get Jay to get that thing fired up, get into low gear, get up over this ridge, and then land down here and stage him. So at least we've got a place where we've got cell phone coverage. So that's currently what we're doing, and hope it all works out.
will not force us. They will stop degrading us. They will not control us.
Yeah, I am. I'm thinking. Yeah, I'll probably give this, once we get this next attempt here, I'll give Ron a call and let him know our situation. I'll probably give it another 10-15 minutes. Okay? Okay, I will. Bye. So, before we abort, what we'd like to do is when we put those cables back on, if it doesn't fix the problem, which is probably not going to fix the problem, it sounds like it's electronic, we'll at least disconnect the load and put less of a burden on the vehicle, climb that hill right there, and then hit some flat ground all the way back to Bend, which is 20 miles away. And then we can diagnose it at the Ford shop, i.e. the pendant, and get the code and see what needs fixing. Jay, who is a good mechanic, thinks it's this particular sensor and it's easy to get to. It's probably not going to cost a whole lot. So hopefully we get that and we're back on the road. So, made it to Bend, everything went well. Very deceiving. The vehicle seems like it runs fine, it just is missing the power side of it. We finally found Robinson Ford, and Dawn over there behind me is trying to inspect the code errors, and there's no errors. So they're diagnosing it right now. Hopefully everything goes okay.
Hi, this is Michael Peters. We're here in Bend, Oregon for the second time today. We were, Mike Tabor and I were well on our way to Burns, Oregon when we got an emergency phone call that the truck had failed. And so we went ahead and stopped. And then our first mission was to stop Ed Tolan, who was flying that direction with a trailer full of motorcycles. We caught up with him, had a conversation, and Ed had a cigarette out in the middle of the woods, or out in the middle of the desert, no woods to be found. Then we hustled back, found the trailer. The trailer looked great shape, except there was a black suitcase all strewn around the outside of it. I'm not sure where that came from.
Hi, my name is Mike Tabor, and just spent all day on the road. Got up this morning at 4 o'clock to head out to Alvord. Got about, I don't know, a little bit more than halfway there, and then got a phone call back to tell us that Jay Delaney's truck had broken down on the way in. So we turned around and drove 100 miles back. So here we are in Bend, Oregon, waiting for some good word, I hope. I just pray.
Well, we were following Ed Tolan up a pretty steep hill, and everything was running good, and it just lost power. It's like it just ran out of gas. And so we just gradually started slowing down until we were going maybe 15 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour. And fortunately there was a Vista turnoff, so we could pull off the side of the road and check it out. And couldn't find anything obvious, and I just had this pit in my stomach, like, this was my responsibility out of all of this stuff, is to get this whole deal down to the desert. And I kind of felt like I failed, because here we are sitting on the side of the road, and my truck's not running. So
hey, I am in a bit of a jam, and I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Well, do you remember that Firebird project I was working on with the paralyzed guy and getting him set up to drive it and everything? Well, we were on our way to the Alvord Desert down in southeast Oregon, and we're hauling that car in a trailer with my truck, and my truck broke down. And it's sitting in the Ford shop in Bend, and I was wondering if there was any possible way I could borrow a truck.
No, they look at the
No, my truck is sitting in the Ford shop in Bend.
44 cents. Why don't you go get it?
Yeah. Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you so very much. You don't have any idea how much I appreciate this. Okay, thanks, Terry. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. Bye. We got a truck.
Yes! So we lost our truck out on Highway 20, and we currently are back at the local Bend dealership, the Robinson Ford dealership, and Don here, the manager of the service department, has been extremely helpful. Can't give us anything free, but he's sure his customer service was great and supported us in helping to find other options. Fortunately for us, though, there was someone in Sisters, Oregon that has a very similar truck, and they are able to let us borrow it. And so that truck is going to be here within an hour. We'll transfer all our goods over into the borrowed truck and head back out to 20, hook up with the Biffle trailer, and then hit the road. And hopefully be setting camp up on the desert shortly. Plan C, got to rent a truck now. We're gonna go pick that thing up right now and thank the Good Samaritan whenever she gets here. She's out of cell phone coverage at this time. We can't get a hold of her, and we have got to get a vehicle. We've got to pick up that truck or that trailer. So getting ready to head out and rent the truck and hit the desert.
The wind's off. I'm not beyond.
If I've learned anything through this process, it's perseverance. That's the virtue that we're learning today, at all costs, apparently. Got the truck, and it's ready to go, but it wasn't easy. But we're on to the next step.
Fire this thing up and just put it in, take the park brake off, put it in drive, and just let it inch forward just a little bit. Good.
So, deja vu. I don't know, maybe 4, 6, 8 hours ago, we were in the same exact spot, different truck, and I think anything worth having is sometimes takes a lot of work. And hold on, what are they talking about over there? Okay, and we've had a few hurdles, but I think we've succeeded today. The most we're probably going to be out of today is probably some sleep and some comfort. And we've spent a lot of time in prayer today, and really all things work to the good of God, and that's what this team's believing in. Made it. Finally made it. Base camp. Alvord Desert. 11:56. He predicted 12. You were off 4 minutes. We're glad to be here. It's time to set up camp. Go to sleep.
We're marching on with no regrets. we throw them all away. The struggle hasn't killed us yet. We live to die another day. All too well that I should lay down these heavy grooves for all mankind. We drop these rhythms for the greater good. Ye seek the funk and ye shall find. We're marching on with no regrets. We throw them all away. The struggle hasn't killed us yet. We live to die another day.
We'll be working on trying to get the most out of the car. So they're already inflating the tires, and we're making sure that the throttle's working right with the system so that I'm getting full throttle. So that's it.
Your mind. We feel like we were born to break all the rules. And we just won't stop until the supersonic stars align. Come on! Until the supersonic stars align. We're marching on.
103. Looks like it's going to work out good. Lost a few miles per hour, made some adjustments to the car, nothing huge, but all that matters is it's 103 miles an hour, over 100 for Ron. He's on his way, and he's going to have a fun time out there, man.
Whatever small amount of patience that we're learning from this opportunity is a drop in the bucket. So it was a pleasure to be able to be part of this.
I got the enemy in my sights, and I will never give up until it's over.
I met Ron Hagee at Whipple Creek Church in Vancouver, Washington. He had been invited to speak, and at that time I was suffering from a herniated disc in my lower back, and I thought this is the most incredible pain and injury that you could deal with. And then Ron shows up at church, and it really touched me to see that he's dealt with a lot more serious injury than what I was dealing with, and he was keeping a positive attitude, and throughout the whole thing he kept praising Christ and just giving the glory to God. And I can remember that time being very, very depressed about the situation I was in, because I couldn't even pick up my infant daughter because my back was causing me such pain. And here he has a little girl that's the exact same age as my daughter, and he can't even give her a hug.
You might see me crying, but you ain't gonna see me call in retreat, 'cause I will never give up until it's over.
It wasn't until just about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that I got kind of involved in his life a lot, and it was a wonderful thing. It was really great. I grew from it.
This guy is awesome. I need to pay it forward. If I'm going to pay it forward to anybody, this guy deserves it more than anything.
There's only one is in command.
The reason why we did this, obviously, was for Ron Hagee to achieve his dream of going 100 miles an hour, to drive a car again. I mean, those are just the obvious things, but there was something a little bit more, and it was that Ron would be able to use this opportunity to speak to people, to give people hope, to have another tool in his toolbox to do public speaking. And the core piece of this is God. Ron's a Christian, I'm a Christian, and I agree with what he says. I think that his message is powerful, not just because of the fact that he's a quadriplegic, but because he speaks about hope. And that's something that everyone needs.
I met Ron at the first committee meeting to start off this project. Ron Phillips approached me at the SEH about his friend and his goal. And I occasionally did track days at PIR. in a vintage Pinto, and I said, yeah, I'd love to be a part of the team.
We considered aborting. That was what we wanted to do in Bend. In fact, a buddy of mine and I were discussing these hurdles and if they were signs whether we should not move forward. Our final decision was to move forward.
Only one is in command.